Hey everybody, welcome to MOVIEVERSE. This week we're going to be discussing The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm Big Nasty.
I'm the Habitual Pixel, and it's my birthday.
Yes, apparently it's everybody's birthday.
Nope, only Jamie Foxx's birthday. It's a little bit late and we're a little bit tired, so don't expect the most thorough review, but
You can surely expect a disappointed one.
we just felt so inclined and so moved by this film that we just had to come home and review it. We're talking about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 today. We just got home from seeing it. It's late Friday night at the time of this recording, but we still decided to hop on and do a little rant / review of this film.
Should we start with what's actually good in it? Because there's not a lot.
Sure. We can start with what's actually good, I guess. You want to start off on a positive note, per se.
We might as well.
Spoiler alert, obviously. We spoil movies on our reviews, usually.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if you don't want this ruined for you, you click away right now. You click it. If you're still here, this movie kind of sucked. Like, it wasn't,
No, I wouldn't just say kind of. It sucked.
It wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. But we're going to talk about the positives first. Off the top of my head, I like Spider-Man's aerial stuff. Like his swinging around, his the few shots of him like jumping off buildings. You really get a sense of vertigo when it looks down at times. And I think it's done really, really well and looks really, really good. That's one good thing.
I would tend to agree with that, and I would say overall, realistically, I mean, the angles are very cinematic. They look very nice. It all kind of looks nice in that regard, as far as how it's shot, except for maybe the electro fight scenes.
Yeah,
but
with the technology they have these days, they're able to recreate like comic book style framing and angles. And stuff.
That's what I was about to say. The framing is gorgeous too. But only for certain scenes, like the scene at the cemetery after Gwen Stacy dies is framed very, very well.
I thought that was awesome. It just looked like the gravestones went into infinity. But I really thought that was. I think overall the whole movie is a pretty well shot movie.
I would agree.
It looks pretty good. Like you said, the electro fight is a bit on the goofy side, but
over the top.
Yeah, and we'll get to the reasons why it's over the top. It's not the cinematography's fault.
Do you like dubstep?
Yeah. Do you like dubstep? Do you like whiny ass, bitch ass fucking Jamie?
Tell me I'm wrong. Did it not sound like it was like starting dubstep songs? Like, they hate me. Why you made them shoot at me? Bam, bam, bam.
I thought that whole fight scene was like choreographed to dubstep, kind of.
It was
I couldn't
weird,
tell if
man.
that was the sound electricity makes, or that's the sound dubstep is, or maybe both. I don't know. Dubstep is the sound the speakers make when they die.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, so cinematography was a very positive side to this. I thought it looked good for the most part. What else is good about this?
The Green Goblin.
Yeah, I guess we could hop to the Green Goblin, who was played by, what's this little fella's name? I can't remember.
Me either, but he's a very good actor. He's impressed me with pretty much everything I've seen him in.
Dane DeHaan, who you may recognize as the creepy dude from Chronicle, the guy who like split spiders apart with his mind and stuff. I liked Chronicle. I thought it was awesome. He was also in Lawless as well. And
I have not seen that.
Lawless was okay. It wasn't anything special. And a movie called Kill Your Darlings with
with Buddy from Harry Potter.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe, which does look pretty cool. But anyways,
yeah, it's based off the novel.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I knew I heard that name before. But anyways, Dane DeHaan plays Green Goblin, or sorry, Hobgoblin, Green Goblin.
The Green Goblin. Well, Baby Goblin, as I like to call him.
Yeah.
Just technically, he's the Green Goblin, but it's Harry Osborn, not Norman Osborn.
Yeah, okay, fine. But yeah, he plays Harry Osborn, a.k.a. the Green Goblin, or some sort of goblin. You all know him well. And he definitely stole the show when it came to acting, I think.
Oh, yeah. 100%. He's easily the best performance in the film.
And he looks the part perfectly, too. Like, I don't know if you recognize or you know who we're talking about from Chronicle, but he's A bit on the creepy, weird-looking side, kind of like Willem Dafoe from the
Very similar.
original three Spider-Man. Um, and yeah, I thought he fit the role perfectly. He played the role well. Even the chemistry between him and Peter,
Yep.
if you can call it chemistry, because it goes, on both
It
sides
did
of the
seem like
movie.
they were going a little farther.
Yeah, yeah, but I thought he was really well done. And I know we're going to differ on this good point, but I think the interactions between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker are done well. They feel very human, and there's a believable romance there. But let me say a couple things about that. There's two reasons for that. Mark Webb, who has a history with romantic comedies and directed my personal favorite romantic comedy, 500 Days of Summer. Um,
Boo.
so yeah, whatever. Uh, so he has experience doing these, realistic takes on relationships, and I thought that worked very well. And another thing, um, I'm pretty sure Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are just dating in real life, so it's probably easy to get chemistry off them. If they're actually, banging off screen.
Yes, to
but,
the best of my knowledge, they are.
yes, not that I follow that celebrity crap, but I
No.
thought that was done really well. Unfortunately, that's not exactly why I went to a Spider-Man movie, to see a whole shit ton of that, to see, Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy's relationship. Obviously, it's important to the story, and it's not ignored, but
Hmm.
it's done really well. There's just too much of it, I think, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. There's way too much of it. It's not that it's too much too. It's the way that it's broken up into such little intervals
Hmm.
around action scenes. This film is absolutely horribly paced.
It is. It really jumps all over the
And
place.
yeah, and I mean, it seems like it's almost just like okay, small action scene, small sappy moment, small action scene, small sappy moment, and just kind of continues in that
Hmm.
trend until it just dips off into failure right around the time, as you said earlier, of Electro saying, "It's my birthday."
Yeah, we'll get to Electro in a bit. Oh, we'll get to you, Electro. I
God
got
damn it,
word.
Jamie Foxx.
I got words for you. Um, Anything else that you thought was really well done? I thought the direction overall was
Yeah, no,
well
that's what I
done.
was.
Like the
Except for the
direction
pacing.
of the scenes, but not the whole, like, where the scenes were.
Yeah, not the whole direction of the film, if you would call it a film. But
Yeah, sure.
as far as anything else that I would say is good besides Goblin and the cinematography,
Hmm.
I'm really hard pressed to find anything else out like in there that, and I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, as you know,
Hmm.
and I, yeah, I'm really hard pressed to find anything else I like there aside from, obviously the fact that yes, the Goblin does kill Gwen Stacy, sort of. He does drop her not off the bridge, but through this glass. I believe it's like a church or something. Well, anyways, it's a clock tower because it's a bunch of
Yeah,
cops.
Clock Tower.
So, anyways, they do a couple, like, oh, is she gonna die? Nope, she's not. And then they do the thing where it blows up. She drops. Spider-Man obviously shoots his web down, and similar to the comics, as he catches her, she snaps her neck.
Hmm. And it's
So
done. It's done rather, like, I thought that was handled well.
that I did think was done well.
Like, it's just
Um,
like it happens quick enough and it's impactful enough that you're
yeah.
just like, damn, Gwen Stacy is dead.
Well, in the comic book, he goes to save her as she's off the bridge, and when he grabs her, she snaps her neck and just like
Hmm.
dies in midair. This it almost seems as if she
She
hits
hit
the
the ground.
concrete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she did hit the ground. Like, and it
So it's
looks
almost
like,
a little more graphic, I guess. There's
yeah,
no
it's not.
blood
Yeah,
until the little trickle from her nose.
it's not like blood splatters everywhere like what would actually happen. But it is, the impact is handled well, I thought.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely feel for that moment, and that's, a testament to their little relationship bullshit that they were going through the entire movie. It makes it so that you do feel bad when she, inevitably bites the bullet. So I guess there was a logic behind all that goddamn romance they squeezed in this movie, but I don't know. I can't think of too much else good. Another character I thought was handled okay, not great, but decent, was Sally Field's character of good old Aunt May. And I thought her and Peter had a lot of good interactions here and there. I know you're not a Sally Fields fan, but
No.
I can't really blame you for that. And she did act like a, chicken with her head cut off at the hospital later on in the movie, or near the climax in the movie. But and I like Andrew Garfield as a actor. I don't really think he's a good Peter, like he's good for the Peter Parker Spider-Man role, but I think he's an okay actor at playing a cocky dick. I just question the choice for Peter Parker, you know. Still,
I do as well.
another movie later, he had a whole nother movie to prove himself, and he did better, but I'm still not sold, if that makes any sense.
See, I personally think he did worse, but I don't. I also realize that it's not all completely his fault. There is somebody who wrote
It's not,
this
no.
dialogue that he was saying, and I don't understand why Peter's become more of kind of like a pompousy douche rather than being the shy, nerdy character that he was intended to be.
We all
And I
know
mean,
he
up
was.
until Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire did a better job. I mean, we can all. There's no way that anyone could forget the emo Spider-Man dance scene.
Yeah, which is the stuff of legends now. Like,
It
that
was
thing,
painful.
it was painful.
But
Um,
to me, Andrew Garfield just isn't Peter Parker. I will give you that he does a far superior Spider-Man, especially with all his little quips that he throws in,
mhm.
stuff to that of that nature. But I
As
really
Peter,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah, I really don't buy him as Peter, and it's kind of the same thing with the Aunt May. I really don't think she resembles Aunt May at all in like either the way she acts. Like I don't feel that she. I don't know. She just doesn't have that same feeling to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just the acting caliber. That could be what it is.
Hmm. I didn't like how in the story they threw back and forth, like Peter is sad about his parents dying, and Aunt May is
Yeah.
sad about Uncle Ben dying, and they're kind of clashing on that. It's like you're both fucking lost people. Gwen Stacy lost her father too because of you, you dick, and like here you are saying like I feel more sad than you should feel over. I don't get it. There's
It's
a lot of people
it's a
die
mope
in the
fest, man. It's
yeah.
a mope fest.
This is one emotional ass fucking superhero movie. Like everyone in this movie is heavily influenced by their emotions.
Until he
Okay.
starts making jokes, but then he starts making jokes of Spider-Man. This you hear this. This is where I say the difference, and I 100% wholeheartedly disagree with Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man because I personally think they shouldn't even have touched it after I've seen these first two. I still think Tobey Maguire did a far superior job, and I'll give you an example of something like the final scene in Spider-Man 1, like the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and compare it to the Green Goblin scene in this. And just watch both of them and tell me which one you think is better.
They're actually come to
Especially
think of it.
the emotion of Peter Parker's
Yeah.
character.
Come to think of it, both those scenes are very similar.
But just think about how the actual acting is done on Spider-Man slash Peter Parker's part. Don't ignore the Green Goblin. I think that's done fantastic in both cases. Just Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, hands down, 10 out of 10, you will say that Tobey Maguire is the superior Peter Parker and Spider-Man as far as being able to convey emotions and,
Hmm.
make the audience feel that this character is somehow real, even though it's a superhero film.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with you there. I like Tobey Maguire better, period, as an actor, I think. And obviously, I enjoy the original Spider-Mans more than these ones.
Yeah,
Except for Spider-Man 3,
obviously that
that was
was
still
a
just a
mistake.
clusterfuck.
I feel like that should just got swept under the rug and then let them keep going, see what they could do. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
like
just
it shouldn't be that one as the nail in the coffin of the Tobey Maguire series, but it was. No turning
yeah.
back now. It's been 2 years, and we have two amazing Spider-Mans, and they're both a little bit meh. So I don't have high hopes for the future of this series. Obviously, Spider-Man 3 is confirmed, if not by the spoil or the what's the word, Easter eggs in the end of this movie, and the rumors that he'll be cast as Spider-Man. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's not over yet, and God, am I hoping they. Sorry, Mark Webb. Like I love 500 Days of Summer, but you need to be replaced. You are not the man for this job. I'm sorry.
Not at all.
Do another romantic comedy. Do another realistic romantic comedy. I would enjoy that. Please don't do Spider-Man 3. Like, just don't cut your losses, dude.
Or at least whoever edited it. get that guy the hell out
Maybe
of here.
it's maybe it's the producer's
Get the
fault. I
editor
don't
out of
really
here.
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
there's
okay.
there's so many
I
problems.
instantly feel bad for ripping on him because it's a Hollywood movie. It's owned by Sony. There's so many hands.
Yeah,
There's so many hands in the pot. And there's so much money to protect. So it's probably not all, Mark Webb's fault. But I still don't think he's, the right guy for the job. So,
no.
and that's not his fault because I'm a
And if you
fan.
didn't know it was owned by Sony, you could tell from all the VIOs or whatever their computers
Yeah,
are
the
called,
Sony VO
laptops.
laptops that no one fucking uses. uh, I do like Sony brand televisions. I think they make good televisions, but that's about it.
But I'm pretty sure every
Sony.
computer is a VO or whatever you called it.
Hmm?
I'm pretty sure every laptop in this movie is a VO.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Or is that what it's called? VO? Whatever.
Yeah, VO, VIO, whatever. Their computer line. I definitely saw in that, especially in that Times Square scene, definitely a few Sony ads here and there. Surprised I didn't see a PlayStation ad, but anywho, poor Sony. I'm rooting for you guys. You'll make it, maybe. Um, yeah. So. Actually, yeah, and on Mark Webb's IMDb page, he's not confirmed for the Spider-Man 3. Sorry, buddy.
They're just seeing how this one goes over. They watched it and were just like, shit.
I still don't think it's all his fault. I think it's
No.
it's a collective error, if you will.
Well, and whoever listened to Paul Giamatti doing his fucking rhino voice and didn't say,
Does Paul
does
Giamatti
anyone
have
else realize he's deaf?
Does Paul Giamatti have kids? Like, it's got to be one of those roles. Like, I'm gonna be in a Spider-Man movie and take my son to see it or something. I don't know, but
I don't know because he did that. He's done a couple other kids movies.
yeah. And as you can see, we're transitioning right into the things we do not like about the Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, because there's so many, it's impossible not to.
Number one, Paul Giamatti. Why'd he even show up? I don't know. Spoiler alert, Paul Giamatti, aka the Rhino, is in roughly 5 to 7 minutes of this film, I think.
Yep.
And he's featured in the
If that.
trailer. He's featured in the trailer a little bit. And the last shot of the movie is in the trailer. I hate it when they do that.
Spoiler! Oh wait, they already spoiled it. Literally, the shot that they show of him, Spider-Man swinging through and smacking missiles out of the air and about to crack Rhino in the face, is the very last shot of the film. And it literally cuts right there and goes to a Spider-Man symbol.
Yes, because Paul Giamatti, and I love Paul Giamatti, I think he's a great actor, but he's in the first 5 minutes of this movie, or I guess not technically the first 5 minutes, but you know what I mean, and the last couple.
After the credits.
Yeah, in the last minute or two. That's it. That's all he's in. So we can move him off to the side. Because
For sure, the opening title.
even though Rhino is technically in this Spider-Man film. Not really. No, not really.
He's in it for maybe 2 minutes as in the Rhino suit.
As Rhino, which is just an Oscorp mech suit kind of thing.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Anywho, so there's nothing really else to mention about his performance because it's so small and short and insignificant. And
Except for the fact that I have to reiterate, for some reason he thought it was a good choice to make a Russian accent that makes him sound deaf.
oh, he sounds so.
Oh, you're Rhino!
He sounds like.
I don't mean that as an insult to deaf people.
No,
I just
not
mean
at
that as
all.
an insult to Paul Giamatti's acting.
I don't know if it was that or they just fucking fucked.
No one could have thought that was a good idea. Like you
Well-
said, he's probably there for half a day, considering how much of the movie he's in.
Well, was he drunk or did he just wake up from a coma or something? Like, he sounds like Rocky Balboa at the end of the movie. That's what he
He
sounds
does.
like.
He
He's
does.
just gotten the shit kicked out of him, but he hasn't.
Yeah,
He's
that
just.
is true.
I know as I've been informed by my, little bit of comic knowledge, and Cody here saying, Rhino is supposed to be just a great big dumb thug. I still think they pushed that a little too far,
Yeah.
When you can't understand what a villain's saying, I don't know. Anywho, that's enough about poor Paul Giamatti.
So we might as well just go down the list of terrible performances. So who do we want to go on to next? Do we want to go to Jamie Foxx already, or we got a couple other ones?
Okay, let's go to another one first. We pretty much covered Andrew Garfield with your little rant there. So
That's true.
We'll leave him out of it. Emma Stone. I don't got a goddamn bad thing to say about Emma Stone. Emma Stone,
Well-
if you're watching, I love you. But, she's not, she does a good job. She does a good performance. It's
She's not asked of much.
Yes, that's the perfect way of putting it. She's in a decent chunk of the movie, and her performances are good, but it's not like she's donning a superhero outfit and becoming Spidey Woman or something. She's just kind of there, and she's just kind of is Emma Stone, and she's beautiful. But you know, she doesn't add nor subtract to this film, I think.
Yeah, I would have to tend to agree with that. I would say that that's one of the things, one of the reasons I found that the biggest lulls in this movie are the points where it's Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, because, like you said, it makes you feel real or whatever, but I don't feel like it feels like it's from a Spider-Man comic book or even Spider-Man
That's a
storyline.
good way of putting it.
It seems very outside of that sort of dialogue.
Yeah, there's romance seems real, but it just seems misplaced in this film.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That would, yeah.
And probably
Basically,
because
take
they're
those out, piece them together, and there you go. There's your
yeah,
romantic comedy from Mark Webb.
yeah. I would have enjoyed seeing a Peter Parker only romantic comedy, and if they made that funny with some Judd Apatow style moments, that'd be a great movie. But that's not the movie that got made.
That would be a horrible movie still.
It could be. Anything could be good. Oftentimes it's not. Uh, so Emma Stone, we've already covered Dane the Green Goblin, more or less. Um, I don't know. We covered Paul Giamatti, Aunt May. We got into that a little bit.
No, that's true.
We've
I
covered a
guess we have
lot of
to.
the.
So
Oh, here's one that you probably want to touch on. Mr. B.J. Novak is Alistair
that's right.
Smythe. Alistair Smythe.
So out of
What?
nowhere,
Well, it's a little bit role too. It's not much
it
of a
is.
role, but
But out of nowhere, so before, like right near the beginning, early on in the start. Anyways, Max Dillon, which is Jamie Foxx's character before
Electro.
he
Yeah.
becomes Electro. He is going to get into an elevator, and the boss tells him yada yada yada, and it's BJ Novak, and then of a sudden, all I heard is Jamie Foxx say, "Oh, blah blah blah." Smythe, and he says, "What's that?" And he's like, "Mr. Smythe." And I said, "No fucking way. That is just god awful." Like, if it wasn't bad enough that they'd already ruined a couple of people, I mean, Alistair Smythe, while albeit not the most intriguing character, still has potential as far as
Yeah.
further films go.
I'd say
And
not.
casting someone with almost no acting chops compared to his writing ability,
Mm-hmm.
which, and this is not a slam on him, I just mean if you can't act, don't bother when you are such a good writer.
Because I do think B.J. Novak is a great writer.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why he landed this role. Maybe he asked for it or something. I don't know. And I think most comic book fans aren't going. Not that's the wrong word. Most people that aren't comic book fans, yeah, won't be familiar with Alistair Smythe as a
Well,
character.
especially because he looks absolutely nothing like Alistair Smythe would. I mean, obviously, this is supposed to be before he's
Mm-hmm.
turned into a supervillain.
Yeah, so I don't
Um,
think that'll break too many people's hearts that aren't fans of the comic books. But if you're a
yeah.
fan of film and you're a fan of comics, you may be a little, you may be questioning the choice of B.J. Novak for Alistair, um, which he could potentially play a huge role down the line, could he not?
Well, technically, yes, because, I mean, if they, for some reason, were ever to bring in the Spider Slayers and stuff like that,
Oh, okay, I've
then
heard of that. Yeah.
he's essentially the one that builds all that.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a
But
big role.
that would be far after Sinister Six. So
I don't think we have any other actors to cover in this. Mary Parker. Yeah, I guess the people that played Peter's parents at the beginning there in the little flashback or whatnot. I don't
at the
know.
beginning, I thought in the beginning scenes, I thought they did a piss poor job.
I thought they were just I thought they were
Kind of bland. Yeah, exactly.
throwaway performances.
Yeah,
I thought that was a decent little sequence on planes. I don't know. I always like good.
I did like the sequence,
I
especially
like
with the gun washing the blood off the hands as the co-pilot was doing when he came in.
Yeah,
I
I
did
thought
like
that
that
was
scene.
I thought that was cool foreshadowing too. I just like a good, well pulled off on a plane scene, kind of like the opening of Dark Knight Rises, for instance. I think those scenes are rad, but still, the performances were throwaway. Let's see.
The one thing I gotta say though on that, unlike the Dark Knight Rises, in this one it was a little more ridiculous as the father, Richard Parker, is on his laptop trying to upload the Oscorp secrets that he'd been working on before the guy attempts to kill him. He then shoots a hole in the window of the plane, so everything's going crazy. An engine blows out, and he's getting strangled by a seatbelt, yet somehow has the sense to pull back the laptop, open it back up, and finish his upload because it would still be connected to the internet. Obviously, belief has been suspended when you're watching something in
Yeah.
the
But
Marvel universe or any comic book universe, but
wouldn't that
still,
have
come on.
wouldn't that have taken place in like the '90s too, if it was by current
That's a
time?
that's a very good point.
Yeah, there ain't no fucking internet. There might be, I don't know, unless it's like some government shit. But to my
I didn't
knowledge,
even think of that.
there's to my knowledge, there's not internet connections on planes, like hardwired internet connections during the birth of the internet. Because the internet wasn't even a thing. There was no Wi-Fi in the '90s. That wasn't a thing yet.
Uh,
But anyways, that's picking at threads when it
that's the
comes to.
that's the only bad part of that plane scene. The rest of it is done
Hmm.
gorgeously, including the wife getting shot in the belly and dying from a gut wound. Because nobody wants to die from a gut wound.
Nope, it's a miserable way to go, Mr. Orange. But I don't know. I hear noises outside my window. Anyways, that's gonna cover most of the other characters. And shall we land firmly on Jamie Foxx as Max Dillon and Electro? I guess because this is. I love Jamie. I love Jamie Foxx. I think he's such a good actor. I think he can do great things, and he has done great things, and he will do great things. But this ain't one of them. This is one of the shittiest fucking piss me off villains I've seen in a long, long time.
uh,
Like this pathetic sack of shit, Max Dillon. I don't know if this is like from the comic book lore, if he's this much of a loser in the comic book lore. I'm not familiar, but he fucking sucks. Before he turns into Electro. After he turns into Electro, he does some cool stuff here and there, but he still kind of sucks.
see, I've seen several different origin stories
I don't.
between both the comic books and like the different variations of comic book series, and the cartoon show as well from Spider-Man. And I've never actually owned any of the origin of Electro, so I'm not too familiar with what his original story is. But from every single one that I've personally seen and read, I've never seen one where he's like that.
He's like the mega loser working at Oscorp kind of thing.
Yeah, who's like just some almost like a paranoid schizophrenic even beforehand.
Yeah, he definitely. There seems like there might be a mental issue there for sure. They never
Yeah,
mention it because I mean
no, yeah, obviously.
I would have enjoyed it if they mentioned that he had a mental problem because that would have cleared some shit up for me. But if
I
not,
do
I'm
know that I do know that in the comic stuff, like he's in some of the ones that I read, he wasn't all that bright. But I mean, some of the kind of second class villains never are really all that bright.
hmm
But if I'm not mistaken, and I could be speaking out of turn here, but if I'm not mistaken, when he first was introduced, he was sort of meant to be more of a major mainstay villain.
yeah. Okay. Well, he's not a mainstay villain in this
No,
universe. I don't know. I just Jamie Foxx. You can tell he's trying with the role. Like you can tell he's trying with the dialogue, and he clearly had some fun dressing up in that mocap suit to do all that crazy stuff. I'm sure he tried and he had fun with the role, but my God, like it just fell so flat for me. I don't know why.
he did. In my opinion, he did a bad job as Max Dillon.
Yeah,
But I think he did
an
a
okay.
fantastic job of Electro with the absolutely worst dialogue I've ever
He was given
heard.
some shitty dialogue, some very bad dialogue.
Like it was almost mind-boggling the
This
things that
man
came out of
loves
his
his
mouth.
birthday so much. Let's set up the character of Max Dillon a little
Oh,
bit.
okay, all
All
right.
right, so he's a lovable loser scientist working at Oscorp in the electricity division or whatever, because Oscorp is now powering all of Manhattan, because that's a good idea.
Yeah, that makes sense. Private company.
Never mind the whole private companies owning the power grid, or the fact they tried to make crazy lizard people in the last movie, but never mind all that shit. So, anyways, he's a bit of a
Uh,
loser, kind of a social reject. Got a really bad comb over. They uglied him up nice and good for this role.
yeah, he did
um,
look goofy.
yeah, he looked goofy as all fuck. But Spider-Man saves his life one day during the opening kind of sequence where he's the the cameo role by Rhino. During that sequence, he gets his life saved by good old Petey Parker, and just becomes obsessed with Spider-Man and like starts having conversations with Spider-Man, but in his own head.
Yeah, like Mark David Chapman obsessed.
Oh yeah, like just like you know the music video for Stan when he goes in the basement and it's just like wall to wall.
You're right.
Yeah, wall to wall pictures. That's what he's got going on.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's got some fetish shrine thing going on for Spider-Man.
That's an awesome
I don't know why. I mean, if I got my life saved by Spider-Man, I'd be super thankful. I'd definitely be a big fan of Spider-Man, but I don't know if I'd go to this extent. This is weird. Anywho.
Yeah, it's a little much.
Yes. So that being said, he goes about his life, and he gets this man gets bullied at work. This man's 40-something years old, and he gets bullied at work. Like, BJ Novak, the little 20-something-year-old shit, bosses him around. And, I don't know, he's just down on his luck. And lo and behold, you want to take over why he turns into Electro, the ham-fisted way they do that?
So he is told that he has to go and check on one of the sectors of their power supply because something happened. So he goes up and radios down and asks them to disconnect it or
shut off
whatever.
The power, regulations for anybody who works with power. And what does the guy on the other end of the walkie-talkie say?
No.
He's like, nah, it's Friday, I'm out of here.
I'm out the door, he says.
Yeah, I'm out the door. I'm already gone.
So anyways, Jamie Foxx then proceeds to climb up a banister that looks absolutely completely unsafe and starts singing happy birthday to himself.
Because it's his birthday, by the way. This happens on his birthday, of course it does. This is great.
And then he goes and connects his two wires.
Yeah, he handles live wires with his hands while like balanced on this like beam. I keep interrupting.
And then he proceeds to fall into a giant vat of electric eels that start what I thought was eating him.
I thought it was too.
Especially with that's probably one of the only shots that I would say was just absolutely horrible was when they did the dead head-on shot of the
eel coming at him.
Yeah.
What was that all about? That looked like it gave me like Piranha 3D flashbacks.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, he gets attacked by these eels, and then the tank explodes, and all the power goes out in the room. All the light bulbs, kind of blow up or whatever.
Looks
and
like he got burned to death horribly.
Yeah, he does. He looks like Al Simmons. So then, anyways, they say that they're going to cover it up because it's Oscorp. I mean, what kind of giant corporation?
Let me say something. They fucked up so hard. Like, you can't just say, no, I'm not going to shut the power off when you're working on a power grid.
Oh, man.
If you're changing a fucking light bulb, you can shut the power off to that. Like, the ignorance of Oscorp was outstanding. And coincidental, nonetheless. But, yeah, either way, Oscorp tries to cover it up because, when a loser electrifies himself to do that work, better cover that shit
You don't
up.
tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. Thank God he was such a loser and no one knew his name, but, Spider-Man.
Gwen Stacy remembered his name.
Yeah, Gwen. Oh, yeah, he gets this really creepy look in his eyes when he meets Gwen Stacy and Gwen remembers his name. He's all impressed when people remember his name. He walks around with the name tag on, like, the entire time, and he's still baffled that people remember his name. And he just wants to be in the spotlight. Oh, we're ripping on Electro so hard right now.
He wants people. He just wants people to see him.
Yeah, he just wants to be seen. Anyway.
He wants people to live in a world of darkness, a world without power, a world without Spider-Man.
Those are three things: darkness, power, Spider-Man. Can't have any of those things. So weird. Anyways. Turns out he's not dead. He didn't burn to death horribly in the workplace accident.
I actually did like that scene when he starts breaking out of the
the ground
case
shot.
he was in.
Yeah, the ground shot with all the ashes falling off and stuff. I thought that was handled good. I thought it was cheesy. I would just grab clothes immediately. Like, can't have a naked guy. God forbid.
I feel like if you didn't know the extent of your electric power, you would just fry your clothes the second you put them on you.
I would too, but that's not.
But I mean, again, I think it was so bad that I even got to the point where I was nitpicking with believability in the Spider-Man movie,
Oh yeah,
which is never a good idea.
we're nitpicking at believability when we say shit like workplace accidents. Obviously, there's no fucking workplace accidents in comic books.
I
Everything.
mean, that pretty much happens all the time in
That's what I
comic
mean.
books. So.
That shit is coincidental and it happens for a reason to further the plot. When it's just done in a ridiculously unbelievable way, it takes
No
you that.
workplace accidents, no Bruce Banner.
Yeah, exactly. But when it's done poorly, it takes you that much more out of the experience. Like, you already have to come into a movie with disbelief because you're watching a man who's a spider fling around from buildings and shit. But when you have to take it that step further back, and you're just like, okay, well, this is just dumb as hell. Then you're left with, a pretty lackluster viewing experience. But
Well, and to me, one of the biggest holes too with Electro was the second that Harry Osborn brings him up to the office there at Oscorp, and he somehow is wearing a suit that's specially designed for him, so it stays on while he transports through electricity and has a little lightning bolt on his sleeve.
yeah, where'd he get that shit?
Yeah, that was
They
kind
never
of.
explained that. Where's his Lucius Fox that hooked him up with that cool shit? I don't think that wasn't explained at all. Kind of looked like he stole the suit off the Fantastic Four, to be honest.
It.
But
Well, I actually thought the suit looked kind of cool with the
it
little
did look kind of
conductors
cool.
kind of popping out of it or
Yeah,
whatever they were.
and I
But
thought
at the same time,
I did
it's
think
not like it was in
the
the vault room
no.
with all the sudden. Like, I mean, it's a workplace accident. They didn't know he was going to fall into the vat of eels.
Why are you keeping open vats of eels everywhere, man? This is dangerous.
Oh, man.
That's nitpicking on a whole nother level. But I thought the effects that they used to make him Electro, like his, you could see
The glow.
the current run through his
Yeah.
skin. I thought that was pretty rad. Actually, that would have taken some serious work on the VFX end, and I thought that was done rather well. But
Same with the stuff he shot when he shot it from his hands, but not when he was moving.
hmm
And it was like the stream, like kind of like Ra's al Ghul from the, I believe it's Arkham City video game.
yeah, yeah. It reminded me of when Spider-Man was chasing him and he was like dashing all over. Reminded me of Nightcrawler a little bit. The way he was just puff, poof, pow, all over the place. Um,
See, that's what I mean. It reminded me of Ra's al Ghul when you have to chase him through that
hmm
imaginary world.
yeah, Electro's powers aren't really explained at all. Really, I don't think. Like maybe a very little bit, but they
Well,
do.
he can absorb power and essentially live through power, like
Yeah,
through electricity. Sorry, not power.
but they
Through
never
electricity.
explain why the eels and shit did that to him basically, or they
Yeah,
didn't
that's
they
gonna
didn't
happen a lot
explain
in
it.
comics.
I know, but they didn't explain it enough that I was satisfied, and
Ah,
I like to hear explanations for things like that, even if it's just made up bullshit. Give me a little bit of something. That's why I thought when Peter's dad revealed that his DNA was the whole key to making the spiders work, I'm like, thanks for the little bit of information on why all this crazy shit works. I enjoy that. But there was none of that for Electro. It's just, here's an electric dude. He hates Spider-Man. He has massive social phobias.
and his reason for hating Spider-Man essentially is because Spider-Man didn't remember his name, and then he believed that he lied to him. Because I usually try and kill people that lie or don't know
Actually,
my
yeah.
name.
Yeah, you're right. We kind of glossed over that. If you really break it down, like obviously there was a massive electrical fight that happened somewhere in there, but it basically came down to Spider-Man just brushing this dude off, or not forgetting, or not remembering his name,
Yeah.
and that's enough to go on a sadistic vendetta, I suppose, and put trust in creepy dying Harry Osborn because that's a good idea.
Yeah, which, as I said before, I haven't obviously read all of the origin stories or the
No.
original origin story, but the ones I have seen, I do not believe that. I don't believe it was that he just kind of brushed him off. As far as I recall, it's the fact that he actually did want to try and be a good guy or something like that. He didn't know how to control his power, and Peter Parker, or sorry, Spider-Man, just kind of attacked him.
Yeah,
He
had to
didn't listen
stop him.
out. Yeah.
And that's what they kind of captured with the first fight in Times Square. Like, I thought some of that was handled well. And I'll add that to my list of things that was done well. That Times Square explosion, the big one,
I
They're
did
just
like
like
that. Yeah.
mushroomed out, like reminded me of that scene where the nuke goes off in Watchmen, kind of, and it just like all the buildings and shit collapse. I thought that one shot, that several seconds of this film was awesome, but
Except for the sound effects, of course.
yeah, and then no one, I get it, no one really knows what Electric Dude versus Spider Guy sounds like. I get that, but it still sounded a little too cheesy and a little
Yeah, it
too,
sounded dubsteppy.
like they were leaning on the
Is
dub.
that a term? Dubsteppy.
Sure, sure, it's a term now. They were leaning on the dubstep button and the little bit of the Inception horn from the Chris Nolan Inception horn, which
Yeah.
you don't want to do that too much. What can I say? Um, yeah, we just tore Electro limb from the limb there.
Well, I'm sorry we talked about it again. We got to talk about when he plays Itsy Bitsy Spider through
Yeah.
bouncing through beams.
Oh
So
goodness.
essentially, if anyone out there who's actually watching this remembers a little game called Simon Says, where a little pattern would go and you would have to press it and it would make different noises. Doom, 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 doom.
Hmm.
Anyways, that's essentially what Electro does and plays Itsy Bitsy Spider, to which Spider Man makes sure you hear him say, I hate this song.
Mm. I bet you most people wouldn't have even realized it until he said, "I hate this song." Like he's still. I get Spider-Man's supposed to have all these
Little quips.
quick whips and whatnot, but like throwing them in during like that moment, for instance, like, Peter, focus. And when he's like fumbling with all that nuclear radioactive waste that somehow, or whatever that was, Oscorp thing in the
Oh,
beginning,
the
Rhino,
plutonium?
yeah, the
Yeah, the
plutonium. There we
plutonium.
go. And it's just banging around off shit, not becoming unstable, and he's just like, "Oh, got this one. What? Over there." Like slipping on banana peels and shit. I don't know. I thought it was too much for me.
uh,
Sorry, I'm all
no, the way you explained that was absolutely hilarious.
sorry.
Yeah.
I don't like
No,
that.
it's true. Yeah, no, it's a. That's what I mean. When you say he's better, it's better than he was better than the first one. The first one was kind of more subtle. One like the only like real jokes I remember is besides some of the ones he made to the lizard was when he does the thing with the knife guy and he's
Yeah, and
like,
I
"Oh
did
no, not a tiny knife."
I did
That was
like that.
hilarious.
And there was a few quips here and there in here like that were actually funny and caught a chuckle out of me, but none of the ones during the fights. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
It was
no,
all
that
just
was kind of ridiculous.
silly bullshit. And yeah, Spider-Man's awfully nice to everyone he meets, except for the bad guys. Then he's a bit of a dick.
Well, I feel like it's kind of his fault for picking up a dude who was clearly bizarre looking, and then telling him, "I need you. You're my eyes and ears out here." And not expecting him to be like,
No,
"Well,
no,
why
no.
haven't you called me?"
That's not. No, no.
I'm
That's
trying
not.
to give him some justification. Come on.
That's not Spider-Man's fault at all.
Remember, everybody gets one.
Yeah, everyone gets one, and that
That's
was
your one, asshole.
yeah, that was Max Dillon's one, and he just took that way too far. No, that's not Spider-Man's fault. Yeah, he could have just picked him up and swung away, but it just because he's a nice guy doesn't mean you have to get all
Well, I guess he
psychopathic.
does have tendencies of a serial killer, you know.
Yeah, I would put him on the watch list for sure. If he didn't become Electro, he might, turn people into funny hats.
And perhaps a full gown.
Yeah, some weird, creepy shit.
Ed Gein style.
So I'm sorry. Like I like Jamie Foxx. I thought there was there was elements of good in Electro. They were deep down in there, but overall, this is one of the worst villains I've seen since. Even though I kind of like the Mandarin, would you say this is an equally disappointing villain to the Mandarin,
No, because
or
it's
more
not.
so?
Yeah. No, I would say less because it's not like they took one of the greatest villains
Okay,
in
okay. Maybe
in a
that was
hero's
yeah. Maybe that was
storyline.
Never mind. Bad example. Cody feels personally about what they did to the Mandarin. we won't.
You
Get in,
don't do that.
we won't get into it here, but he's not.
That's like
impressed.
making a That's like making a Batman film and being like, "Oh yeah, but all this build up about the Joker, like have him doing, for instance, The Dark Knight.
And he's
Heath Ledger does his little CTV videos or GCTV videos, all that stuff, and then all of a sudden it's the Joker's actually just an actor that's hired by
Oh no,
fucking Calendar Man.
I get the disappointment. Maybe it was a bad comparison. What I'm getting at is that Electro is a super disappointing villain, and he is the main villain of this movie. Unfortunately, Harry's in it a lot, and he plays an important role. But this is
Yeah.
Electro's the main bad guy this time around.
I don't know if I'd say it is disappointing as much as misleading, just because I feel that it's not explained or built up enough. I feel
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't do it justice in the foreground of Max Dillon's character, and then
Yeah,
into Electro. Is I think Jamie Foxx did
he had some fun with
put forth a
Electro
good
for sure.
performance at Electro, but I feel the dialogue written for him was just absolutely god awful. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for him to angrily yell in the middle of a fight scene, "It's my birthday," and for him and Harry Osborn's
Which is a
conversation of,
yeah.
"I need you, you need me, I
What?
need you,
And
you need me."
they had this loving look into each other's
Like
eyes.
that's
Um,
just
yeah, there's some terrible dialogue, and I think the character of Max Dillon was done badly.
it
like,
was definitely done badly.
and I can't tell if that's the way Jamie Foxx wanted to do it, if that's the way the director wanted it done, or if that's the way the producers wanted it done. Whatever, it's not done right. And I
Uh,
think there's better villains in the Spider-Man universe that could have equally, or if not more so, filled this role. But they, I don't know. I'm done. I'm done. I'm sorry,
to
dude.
me, it would have made a lot more sense to make him someone like, say, Shocker, because
There
a
you go.
it doesn't matter. Like first off, like you wouldn't notice anything about the character being different because I mean, for everything I've ever seen, a lot of Electro's imagery, he's just a person still. And I mean, obviously, it's not a big deal if they want to cast somebody else as a thing. But I find from being a fan of the comics, it's just kind of distracting when you take a white character because there's plenty of African American characters, but you switch them out.
Mm,
I think if you had him be someone like Shocker, for instance, he be Shocker. He gets to be like the mercenary. You can show him as Jamie Foxx, and then have something happen. Do whatever you want to do to change the storylines, as they always do, and then make him so he's got his costume, and then he's
yeah,
got
there
his
you
little
go.
blaster rings, and that would have
Mm-hmm.
been. I think he could have done a far superior job as that,
I
but
don't.
that's just
Yeah.
me.
Personally, I don't care if you want to change races, if you want to change genders, if you want to change whatever. Have a
See, I
black.
don't. You got
I
to
don't
keep
care. Have a
some.
Chinese guy play Jesus. Have fucking,
That's just funny.
Sir Ben Kingsley play, Gandhi, which is
Well,
like,
yeah, but that's different though. It's not like they
I
didn't
know.
make him look
I'm kidding.
East Indian.
I was trying to make a joke, but I don't care who you put in the role. Just make sure they do the role properly. Like if they do justice to the role, that's all that matters. I don't care. Just do the role well, and just Electro fell flat for me. Oh, what do you say we wrap this? We turn this back around to like talking about the movie as a whole, and wrap this up because we could go on forever, bitching and moaning about this
Just tearing
fucking
apart
movie.
Electro.
Yeah, or just the movie in general. Electro's not the only bad thing in this movie. Don't
No,
get me
that's
wrong,
that's true.
but he is arguably the one that stands out the most. Because me and Big Nasty were in the theater tonight, and we literally burst out laughing when he said, "It's my birthday." In a whole crowded theater full of people, just it's his birthday.
This I've never seen so many people just like getting up, leaving, and coming back whenever they
Yeah,
want so
yeah, that was
casually
weird.
ever in a theater
That was it.
because of how bad this movie
That's
is.
got to be a testament to the movie. Like usually that's why I don't really like going to big theaters on opening weekends of movies. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm just not a people person. I hate people talking in my theater, blah blah blah, all that shit. But I don't mind it. You got to do what you got to do if you want to see the movie. But people were coming in and out like crazy in this movie, like just constantly walking all over. It didn't ruin the experience for me. I'm just like it
no, so
just made me think like some of these people do not give a shit about what's going on the screen right now. They are more concerned with what their text and Twitter says than what is happening on screen. Can't say I
which
blame them. Can't really say I blame them.
which similarly is exactly how I felt.
But my thing is like, shit, we paid $14 to come see this shit. I'm watching
Yeah.
it. I'm watching as many frames as I can.
Oh yeah, I made sure to see them all. Except I did. I think I did miss whatever he said directly after
I
"It's my
stepped.
birthday," just because I laughed so hard.
Yeah, I missed that too. I stepped out to answer a phone call real quick and just missed like 10, 30 seconds or whatever it was. I can't even remember what I missed. Who cares? but, Anyways, do you have any other points you want to make on this movie? Like, any final thoughts per
I do
se?
have a point. Yeah. Whoever keeps thinking that it's a good idea to make the Amazing Spider-Man movies need to stop. If you feel like I feel, you need to not go and see this. That is the best thing you could possibly do. Is if you haven't seen it already, and for some reason you're watching a review, you do not go see it, and you will be 100 times better when it comes out. You can watch it, look it up on some sort of paid website, and you know, watch it. Watch it a free way
Or a cheap way?
or a cheap way.
Or a very cheap way.
Definitely.
Yeah, if I had paid $4 to see this on cheap movie day, I might be a little less angry. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. There's no. Don't ever see it. But
Yes.
I feel like it should be a last resort.
What Cody is getting at here is if Spider-Man is near and dear to your heart, as it is to him, there's a picture behind him. You can see it right now. Um, actually, the camera might crop that. But there's a poster there. Mark my words. You may get hurt. Think that is that what you're getting at, basically?
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it's
essentially.
the depending on how hardcore fan of this universe you are, your disappointment may be higher. We'll say.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, I do love my superheroes and I love Spidey, but I don't have any like major childhood attachment to the series or anything like that. I'm just pissed it wasn't a better movie. But I just want superhero movies to be good, and I want Spider-Man movies to be good because I enjoy the character of Spider-Man, and I enjoy the character of Peter Parker, and he's got some sweet villains in his universe. Blah 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 blah. This isn't the movie to do it justice. That's basically what I'm trying to get at.
And if I may, as a closing statement
Of course, of
from
course.
both of us here at Movieverse, all I gotta say is to the people at Sony Pictures who keep making this garbage with the last two, with great power comes great responsibility. Fucking read a Spider-Man comic book.
Sell it to Marvel. Sell it to Disney. Do it. Sell it to Disney, Sony. The money. Disney's got fuck you money. They can throw money at you. You can single-handedly save the PS Vita that no one fucking bought, or the PS4 that no one fucking bought because there's no games for it. You can single-handedly save you that by selling all your shit to Disney and Marvel. There's my
Marvel Studios.
yes, Marvel Studios. There is my expert business decision. That's what you guys should do.
It's good advice.
I know you
You should
won't.
take it.
I know you won't, but that's my thought behind it. Yeah, I don't know. If you can't tell by this, fucking 45 long minute rant we've gone on here, we're not too impressed with the movie. But I think we've
That's
summed up.
awful.
I think we've summed up everything we need to say. Captain America is a better superhero film.
Far better.
Guardians of the Galaxy will likely be a better film. Fingers crossed. I mean, wishful thinking, of course. X-Men, I'm fingers crossed, is going to be better too. There's better things to spend your time on if you love superhero movies this summer. This is probably
Yep.
one you can skip, which I hate to say that because at worst a movie should be like, oh, okay, well that movie was not bad, not good, kind of like the Thor movie or the first Captain
Yeah.
America. You're just like, not all that special, but I've done less in a day, I guess. This movie, we walked out just being like, I can't wait to tear this movie apart on the internet.
Pretty much.
And that's never what you should think walking out of a movie. Anyways, we've rambled enough. My personal score, and I think I'm being nice because I like the director and I like the cinematography and I like the special effects. There's some stuff here that I like, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. That's what I would.
Yeah?
6 out of 10, and I think that's being really, really generous.
Yeah, I'm lowballing here. I'll put it this way. I would give Man of Steel a 3 out of 10.
Oh, damn.
I'm going to give this a 4.
Holy shit. I thought 6 was being overly generous, and clearly it is, but I think there's some cool visuals. I think if you got a Blu-ray player and someone lends it to you, there might be some good stuff here. But overall, no, this is not. I probably won't be seeing this movie again. Period. I'm going to look up.
This will be one of those unpackaged Blu-rays that's just
Yeah.
there, so I have all comic movies still.
Yeah, there you go. I'd rather look up, Emma Stone and Maxim magazine or something. Anyways.
That's a far better use of your time.
Yes. So this is a movie that is less than the sum of its parts, if that makes any sense. There's some really good moving parts in this movie, but together they form something that is lesser than all of them.
Yeah, it just
This
doesn't.
is disappointing. So
It's not a cohesive
it's not a
machine.
complete package of filmmaking goodness. It just isn't. But yes. Anywho, 6 out of 10 from me, 4 out of 10 from Pig Nasty. That's been Movieverse for this week. Thank you for tuning in to our review of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Links to our channels and other such playlists and bullshit in the description below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you later.
It's my birthday.